What's up, everybody out there today? We finna enjoy ourselves today. Today is Monday, day of our God. And we finna rock out how we rock out, but more importantly, we finna inform and educate at the same time. That is what it's all about at the Sober Gang Experience podcast. And also, I got a very special guest in the building. Yes, I got my sister discovering Nicole. Nicole is in the building, and we finna break down body brokering. What is it? How people are being used? How the vulnerable people in addiction is being used for corruption, right? We finna break down body brokering, and we gonna also dive into the corruption in these addiction facilities that we see so much that is rampant in the U.S. right now. We finna have some fun today. Make sure you hit the like button before we even start. We gonna rock out how we rock out, and thank you all again for tuning in to the Sober Gang Experience podcast. Let's go. Break into this body brokering situation, right? And it's a lot of people that has been had by, to me, I really call it being pimped. What these certain individuals was go out there and recruit vulnerable addicts and to try to come to these facilities for pay. And it's been going on for quite a while, for a long time. And so me and Nicole today, we're going to dive into this situation. I don't think it's getting highlighted as much as it should be. So today, that is what we're going to do. That's exactly what we're going to do today. And we're going to fellowship. We're going to rock out how we rock out. So I would love for you guys just to stick around with me and Nicole today, because we're trying to educate and inspire a lot of people in addiction. So I'm going to bring her into the studio right now.
Ooh, hey, y'all.
What's up, sis? What's going on?
Not much. Over here trying to wrestle my little puppy dog, Rocky.
What's up, Rocky?
I'm so excited to come on because I just went live over on my channel and told everybody what we were going to be talking about, and we did our makeup and stuff, and that's exactly what I said. I said, some people have been saying that I'm a body broker, and I could take this negative things that are being said about me, and I could be mad and angry, but I want to take this as a moment to actually share what it actually is, so we can really prevent people from being hurt or harmed, because that's, at the end of the day, I don't want anyone to get hurt or harmed or taken advantage of at all. And so if I can use something that's been said about me to try and harm me to help somebody else and educate them, that's what we're going to do, damn it. That's
Most definitely. You're sure right on that. Let's make sure we give Nicole a round of applause for that. Thank you, sis. Because I know me and you talk behind the scenes, and you educated me a little bit about this situation. So I did my research, and I tried to educate myself about this situation. So I watched a couple videos, and I came up with this live stream. I said, you know what better way than we can go live and educate others that do not know about body brokering, what's this about, and what is going on with it. So today, you guys, thank you again. Thank you. And I'm gonna need my congregation in the building. Them are the people that rock out with me. Yes. So if you guys are watching on Twitch right now, make sure you share the live stream. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already subscribed to my channel. Now we're gonna break down these couple of video clips. I'm finna play them right now. We're finna dive into it real quick, you guys.
From across the country have been lured to the Sunshine State for decades with the promise of treatment.
KPIX5's Susie Steimel found out addicts are now being paid to come to California. It's a process that's known as body brokering.
Ken and Liz, many addicts have overdosed and even died in the process of being brokered to California. We talked to a father who lost his son earlier this year, who was offered money and free flights to come to a treatment center here. As Florida tightens its regulations, addicts say California is becoming the Wild West of rehab.
He called me when he was in treatment and started telling me about California.
Rich Strickling had a feeling something was up when his 22-year-old son, a recovering heroin addict, called to tell him he was planning to leave his treatment center in Florida for a new rehab facility in California. Days later, he got the call. Alex had OD'd and died in a motel room just a few miles from his rehab facility.
Somewhere I was building some type of wall, waiting for the day that it happened to my son, but nothing prepares you for that.
When he learned how it happened, the pain turned to anger.
There was somebody whispering in his ear.
Turns out a person Alex met in treatment was offering him money and plane fare to switch to a new rehab in Beverly Hills.
I had all the text messages after my son passed away.
Want to go to Cali, the person asks? I'll send you like 200 to get you established out there. And on top of that, you get 2 packs of smokes a day, haircuts, and gym. I'm pretty sure I'm down, Alex responds. Days go by. Then the messages get more urgent. What's the word, homie? You ready? Cali's calling your name. Then the person spells it out. Send me your insurance info and I'll run it to get you approved. Send it tomorrow. I'll throw you the cash after 17 days, broski. I trust you. Let me get back to you tomorrow with my info, Alex responds. Finally, Alex sends his insurance information. Then, radio silence. Rich now knows why.
That same person that does that hard sell on you, they're going to tell you towards the end of that process that you have to fail your urine test in order for them to justify getting you into treatment.
It was that relapse that cost Alex his life.
The person who was trying to lure Alex to California is what's known in the industry as a body broker. Unethical treatment centers will pay former addicts kickback money if they bring them an addict with good insurance to their facility. They'll then run that addict's insurance for unnecessary testing and make millions.
Body broker, to use an indelicate word, is a pimp.
David Skinesny moderates a Facebook group called It's Time for Ethics in Addiction Treatment.
And most often those people will be bought and sold over and over and over, including being paid to relapse oftentimes.
On it, he flags what he suspects might be unethical rehabs.
And I felt responsible because I was the sole reason the clients, I was bringing them in.
Greta Sudakum and Brandy Baca both responded to one such post about a rehab facility called UMNPA Treatment in Anaheim.
It was just like a flop house, basically. That's what it was.
The former employees and others we spoke with reported to authorities that the center was paying for patients.
And I really feel sorry for the people who are really there to get well.
They say while they were there was no credentialed clinical staff on location as required by law, and they say patients used drugs. Records show police responded to the center on calls concerning a near-death heroin overdose, possible meth use, battery, and an attempted suicide. The 2 former employees provided us a balance sheet with a line item for $341,000 for marketing. They believe that money was actually used to pay for clients.
We would never pay a client to come to treatment.
Indigo Allendorf is the treatment center's president.
One of the line items in UMNPA Treatment's budget is for marketing / referrals. And that this past year, you guys spent about $341,000 on that. Who are you paying that money to?
We have a very reputable marketing firm that we pay a substantial monthly payment to.
Indigo gave us the name of the marketing company, but when we called, they'd never heard of UMNPA.
It's sort of like whack-a-mole, like one little bit of, one area of scamming is cracked down upon, and then the scammers find another way to exploit the sector.
Brad Lamb operates a treatment center in the Hollywood Hills. He says there are so many bad actors, operators like him, who refuse to pay for clients, are struggling to stay open.
You wonder how in the world do people sleep at night preying on this vulnerable sector.
Victims' families have had a hard time sleeping too.
It's just that deafening echo of nothing, knowing that the phone isn't going to ring again.
Rich Strickling hopes by telling Alex's story, he can prevent another addict from being brokered here and prevent another parent's heart from being broken in the process.
We're back, and joining us in the audience is Amanda, who was a victim of body brokering at a center in South Florida. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for sharing your story. I can't even imagine what that must have been like for you. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Yes, honestly, it's awful. Like right when you go in there, you don't expect it to be like everyone's getting high. You know, you're finding needles everywhere. They're picking on the weak and sick, and they know exactly which ones to go to. They know exactly which ones are going to take the money and go to detox. You know, take the offers. And I even was overdosing, like I overdosed a couple times in this facility. And thank God, like I'm still here. You know what I mean? And it's just terrible. Everyone is just so sick and suffering, and nobody's getting better. It's just the cycle over and over and over again.
And when you're caught in that cycle, how do you ever break free? How do you snap to and realize that you're being victimized and you're never ever going to escape unless you overdose for good?
And that's the thing, and that's why these places are so bad, because it's like you can't get out of those places when you're already sick. Like I did, thank God, because I hit that point where I just couldn't take it anymore. You know, I knew that if I stayed there, I was either going to die or it was just going to be the same insanity over and over again.
Amanda, we know that a lot of these facilities, the way they get away with this is they isolate the patients from their families. They take their cell phones. They cut off all communication. Did that happen in the facility you were in?
Not like the cut off with the cell phones and stuff like that, but you know, I was getting high like every day anyway, so it's not like I was calling anyone, you know what I mean? And they did hold my medications though. That was one thing. I didn't like that either, them holding my medications, because, for example, like I'm stable on my medications as much as I could be, and they don't care about you. They just care about the money, not you.
How did this center find you, or did you find them?
I actually got referred to it by a friend who, she was actually doing good at the time, and I don't think her reason for me going there was to hurt me, you know what I mean? But when I got there, it was just, she referred it to me and drove me there. She actually got paid for driving me there, so she got money. Yeah.
Wow. Did you have good insurance in place also?
Yes, I had private insurance. My parents work for the city in Massachusetts, and great insurance.
What finally got you off drugs?
My friend Jessica passed away last year. She passed away July 16, 2016. She wasn't found. She was actually in one of these flop houses, not mine, and she was with a couple friends from there, and they left her there. She died in the car and was found 3 days later. Yeah.
Florida Shuffle.
There you have it. There you have it, everybody. We had to play them a couple of clips. So we want to break down really what this body brokering is. And no other person I can bring it to the table to break this down is Nicole, right? Because she brung it to my attention. So that's what we want to do. We want to inspire and we want to educate. And we also just want to inform a lot of people about what body brokering is. So Nicole, I would like to ask you a few questions as well.
Okay.
Can you explain what a body brokering is in the context of addiction treatment?
So, okay. A lot of the times it's usually it has to do with an unethical treatment center. So that's what you have to have is an unethical treatment center that's willing to do whatever it takes to get more heads in their beds. Okay. So you have an unethical treatment center, and then they will most of the time what they do is they prey on addicts in recovery like us, right? So let's say I went to a really shitty treatment center and that was unethical. I graduate and I go through the program and I'm like, yes, I made it. I went through the program. They see that. They see I'm vulnerable. They see I'm new in recovery, and they see how proud I am of myself. I want to tell other people about this treatment center because I just graduated from here and I can help other people. So what they do is they lean into that and they offer, I can give you a job. You can do outreach for me. And outreach basically is the way that you get paid by this treatment center is the only way you get paid is if you bring people to them who either have cash money that they can pay to get in or a PPO insurance policy that the treatment center can charge and, get money from that. And that's where a lot of people don't even know, like some of the people that are doing this are just regular drug addicts who graduated the program. They don't even really know that what they're doing is body brokering. They're just thinking, wow, I got a job working for a treatment center and they're giving me a chance. I'm just an addict, and they get excited and they want to help other people and they go out and they talk about the center. And that's the shitty part of it. But then there's people who are very, very they're in the game. They've been sober for a long time, or they don't even do drugs. And they strictly know how to talk to people and how to connect with people. And they go out to headhunt people because that's how they know they can make money. And those are the people, the body brokers, that I particularly can't stand. I feel bad for people who are like us, who get caught up and don't realize that what they're doing is against the law or illegal. Right. I knew about body brokering whenever I first got into recovery because of being on Facebook and making content about recovery. The first year I started making content about my own recovery, people were talking about body brokering, and they were saying, this person's a body broker, that person's a body broker. That's the thing about the recovery community that's really damaging, is because there's good people in our community who are not doing these things, who people say that they are, and so it's like it can be very damaging to somebody's reputation when they're just really trying to help others and people are saying these things about them that are not true. But that's what these treatment centers do. What they do is they are multi-million-dollar businesses. At the end of the day, rehab is a business.
Right.
And in order for them to get what they need to get, which is money, and people into that treatment center, some of these centers are willing to go to any lengths to make sure that they stay stocked with people coming into that treatment center. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It is not easy to get someone to commit to going to a treatment center. It is hard work. People want to go and then they'll fall off, or they'll leave, or they'll relapse. And so it's not like an easy position to be in, to be out here trying to recruit people to go to rehab. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of body brokering that I've always experienced, is usually somebody in recovery. A lot of the times treatment centers target influencers online because they know that we have big followings. They know that we're going to talk about their center, and then they will pay them. And what makes it illegal is that they're paying them specifically to put these people in treatment. It's like a bribe, paying them per person to go into treatment.
It's very unethical. But like you said, it's $1 billion industry, and people, when it comes to money, people will go by all means, any means necessary to make sure they keep the money flowing.
Absolutely.
What are some of the common ethical concerns associated with body brokering in addiction treatment?
Okay, so whenever you're taking payment, that's where the problem lies, right? So let's say I work for, let's just call it recovery centers, okay? Recovery centers. And somebody reaches out to me, and recovery centers only has, let's say they're not dual diagnosis. Let's say they only treat, they only teach you the 12 steps and that's it. And I have several people that reach out to me for help and they need dual diagnosis treatment. Well, because I'm getting paid from this place, I'm not going to refer them to another place that's has dual diagnosis, because I know this is where my bread and butter is at. And that's where the problem, that's where it causes an issue. And that's what people don't understand. It's like, because some people need different kind of treatment, and this is why I tell people over and over again, if you come to me and you ask me for help, I'm going to tell you, what kind of help are you looking for? What kind of help do you need? And I will help you find the resources, but I'm not going to tell you to only go to this place. I'm not going to tell you to only go to that place, because you have to find what is going to work for you and your mental health and your addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly. Can you explain? Because I know you said you have some problems with, a certain problem with a certain individual trying to come at you about your experiences with body brokering. Can you explain the experiences you had with body brokering? Yeah.
So, okay, I've never ever been paid to place people in rehab. I've never worked for a rehab center, but I do affiliate marketing online. Okay, I work for a couple different companies, but the one that specifically people always target me about is a doctor, as a telemed provider. And the telemed provider has doctors in all 50 states. I have a discount code that I can provide to somebody that wants to use this telemed provider services, and they get 50% off with my discount code. Okay. I get paid at the beginning of every month a salary amount to make videos promoting this telemed provider. And that is what is called affiliate marketing. I'm not paid to send people to that center. It's not a rehab. It's a telemed, and it's in all different states. So let's say if you're in Washington, D.C., and you want to get on Suboxone, I can give you my discount code if you want to use this telemed provider, and you will get 50% off with my discount code. And so for the last year, I'm going to say 8-9 months, there's been a creator online who is taking the fact that I work making videos promoting this telemed provider and giving people a 50% off code and saying that I'm body brokering people. And this place isn't a treatment center. It's not a rehab. It's literally a doctor that you would see to get your medication assisted treatment. And they're all in all 50 states, like I said. And so that's where it gets messed up, because it's like, so you can just go online and accuse anybody of body brokering. And people have been doing this to me since 2020 in the recovery community. It was around 2020 when a lady named Carol, she's passed away now, she's no longer with us, decided that she was going to tell everybody I was a body broker and put it online and like write it as if it was facts, you know? And so I've had this like dark cloud looming over me for the last 4 years of people accusing me of this. And I don't do that. Like, if you reach out to me, I'm not going to just tell you about Recovery Delivered, which is the telemed provider that I have the 50% off code with. If you reach out to me and you need help, I will give you so many different options and so many different resources, but I don't get paid to do that either. Right. You know, it's so damaging, because people that might really need help that could benefit from talking to me or using my discount code are afraid to, because people are online telling them that I'm a body broker.
Yeah. You know, a lot of times when people see, especially, you know, you have a movement, you have a very, very big audience. A lot of people, they vouch for you. And a lot of people love how you translate and explain and break down addiction, because you know you've been there, you've been clean up 9 years now.
Yeah, so almost 9 years.
Yes, a lot of people in this sector, I'm gonna just be honest, will be jealous of you. You know what I mean? So you will always have those naysayers and those people like this. So we just ain't gonna.
I know, but y'all have to understand, like, this is so important to me, because I have worked so hard to make sure that I don't get caught up with unethical places like that, I don't work with places like that. I've been reached out to by many treatment centers and offered a lot of money to send people to their treatment center solely. And I didn't take the job because I know it's illegal, one, and I also know that it's wrong. And no amount of money is enough for me to send somebody into a situation where they could die, where they could overdose, where they're paid to do more drugs, where they're paid to relapse. And that's what happens in these places. These kids, like what happened with the clip that you showed at the beginning, is a great example.
Absolutely.
You know, it was another guy that graduated that treatment center who was who was marketing towards the young man, telling him, I'll give you $200 and a pack of smokes if you will let me, run your insurance card and go back to this treatment center. And that, imagine if you're a drug addict in recovery, Rocky, and you just get out of treatment and you just graduate, and the treatment center comes up to you and says, hey, we got a job for you. All you have to do is tell your friends about us and bring us all your, and you are thinking, wow, I get to work with a treatment center. You know?
I'm going to jump on it. Yeah, exactly.
And so that's how they take advantage of thus vulnerable people in recovery who don't know any better too, But I know better. I know what body brokering is, and I stay far away from anybody that has anything to do with that. To me, it's just like I said, it's not worth it. But I will tell you, I have heard of treatment centers paying $10,000 for one person's PPO, for one person, $30,000 to put somebody. Okay, can you that kind of money? Like, I can understand how people can get caught up doing that, especially if they're desperate. You know what I mean?
And when the money is good, people. Yeah, when the money is good, people are willing to risk it all for a little bit of, just what they say, sell your soul.
Yes, that's what it is.
Terms. Yeah. How prevalent is body brokering in the addiction treatment industry?
Rampant. And that's what makes people, at least addicts in the recovery space, so untrusting of other people, because you don't know what people's intentions are. You are watching people online like us who make a content about recovery, and you think, oh, well, she's just doing that because she gets paid. She doesn't really care about me. I do want to make a really big point, though. Like, we can make money for our time, you guys, and be compensated for our time and still care and want to help people, and that's where I feel like the recovery community stunts our own growth. We stunt each other's growth, because why wouldn't you want to see your brother or sister in recovery be able to make a living off of sharing their experience and helping others online?
Exactly.
You deserve to be compensated for your time. Exactly. Every time I tell my story, it is traumatizing. It brings up more trauma. Every time I talk about being raped in active addiction, the things that I did, losing custody of my son, I get emotional just talking about it. It is something I have to go through every single time. If I can make content online and make videos and social media compensates me for that, or I can get a job where I have a discount code talking about a doctor, telemed doctor that I actually use myself, that is amazing, and that helps my family. Like, why don't we want to see our brothers and sisters in recovery do good and be successful? That's another part of this as well,
It seems like when you're in your recovery, and it seems like people just want you to just be there and not be compensated, like you said, for your good deeds. It's in the Bible. It said, no good deed without work is dead. Faith without work is dead. So Nicole is definitely putting in the work. So it's totally reasonable for her to be compensated for her work, because, like she said, she spent a lot of years of her life in addiction. Being 9 years clean is an absolute wonderful thing to be held accomplished. So when I
first started out, you guys, I didn't make 1 red cent for the first 4 years, 3 or 4 years of my social media journey. I didn't know how. I didn't know how to reach out to brands and say, hey, will you work with me? Now I know. And now I know my worth. I used to do everything for free and think that I didn't deserve to be compensated. I used to do speaking engagement and go and not ask for any money, right? Now I realize, like, that's my time that I'm taking out of my day. A lot of the speaking engagement things I do for free, because it's like this kind of stuff, like you and me collabing. But I'm talking about, like, let's say a school says, we would love for you to come down and talk about addiction recovery.
You'll want to be compensated, because
you have every right to be compensated for that. Is a job.
You got to look at the simple fact that you also have kids, you also have bills, And everybody time is very, very valuable. So, when you go out there and you speaking, just like a person that's a highly person in the recovery sector, if they go out and speak to audiences, that's what they do. They get highly paid for that. So
Yes.
it's absolutely necessary, and it's absolutely right. So I agree with you 100% on it as well. So it's not no shame in what you're doing, and there is that, and I wouldn't even be ashamed of saying yes, I'm getting paid to do it, because you gotta look at the simple fact: the money you might be getting, you might be going to help other people with the money that you receive.
100%. I take a portion of the money that I get and I actually help people pay for their mat recovery. Let me explain something to you guys. I was doing that out of my own bank account for 3 years. My husband had to say, hey, babe, you're spending about $300 a month paying for other people's medication. We need to do something to comp these fees. That's when I started my recovery necklaces that I sell that are on Etsy, my little Etsy business. So that little bit of money that I make on the side from selling, maybe 3 necklaces a month, I can put that back and I can use it to help other people and help them get set up with their mat recovery. One girl actually had just moved into a sober living house and didn't have all her rent. So I was able to give her money, give the sober living house half of the rent for her, but like, this is a job where my work is never done. Like, I am constantly on the phone, constantly on the email, constantly on the text messages. And like I said, I'm not employed by a treatment center. I'm not getting paid to put you guys in treatment, send you the resources that you reach out to me for. I don't get paid to do that. I do that out of the goodness of my heart, just because I like helping people,
Exactly. What are some of the potential risks and dangers faced with individuals who are victims of body brokering?
Well, death. You could die. And imagine being somebody new in recovery and thinking that somebody's reaching out to you to help you, and them saying, I'll give you $500 if you'll go to this treatment center. That right there is the trigger. All this money you have, $500. I mean, you're literally giving people their death money.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's why when people say Nicole is a body broker, this has got to stop. This is the most outlandish bullshit ever. Literally, this kills people. People die because body brokers give them money to go get high. Body brokers give them money to use their PPO insurances. Body brokers ask them to relapse so they can put them back through and charge their insurance.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That is literally killing people. And so I cannot stand by and stand quiet any longer while people say something like that about me, when I would fucking never. It infuriates me so much, because I care about people so much, even people I don't even know. And that's probably a fault of mine. I probably need to work on that, because I care too much. And that's why I get so upset about these kind of things, because I don't want anyone to be hurt like that ever.
Sometimes you gotta learn how to let go, love and let go, and not let it really get to you. I got another question. What steps can be taken to regulate or combat body brokering practices in addiction treatment?
Honestly, it's like a whole problem within okay. So it's starts with insurance companies are fucked up. Okay. And so people have to go where their insurance is accepted. I feel like if we had free healthcare, like in some countries where people could go into treatment for addiction treatment for free, we wouldn't have the situation that we have with it being a multi-million-dollar business and people, wanting to make money off of it. And so it starts with policies, with changing the laws and changing everything around addiction recovery treatment. Also, addiction recovery treatment is so outdated now.
Right.
When you go
I
into
believe.
a rehab center, you're basically you're set up for failure because you go in there, they get you off of drugs, they teach you what? Just say no, pray, meditate, call your sponsor, go to a meeting, and nothing else. It's so much more than that.
Yeah,
You need
they really don't get you
therapy.
prepared. Yeah, they don't really get you prepared for when you hit the street after
Right.
you get out of rehab. So you got a lot of people that go in there and would get out and don't know what else to do. They trying to maintain a sobriety, but they don't have any resources. They don't have a support system. So they go right back to what they know. They go right back to what they know. And any little money that they receive, you already knowing what they're going back to. It's the temptations are just too great.
I feel like treatment needs a whole overhaul. Like it needs to be longer. 30 days is not enough.
All right.
It needs to be longer. There needs to be like the first 30 days can be the initial period where you come in and you're getting off drugs and you're getting your routine down. Then the second 30 days needs to be like you entering into society, help you get a job, help you learn how. Honey, I didn't even know how to pay a bill
That's
when
a
I
great.
got out of rehab.
Ooh, that's a great idea. I gotta get you. Let me drop a bomb for that.
I didn't know how to pay a bill. I
Let
didn't
me
know.
drop.
Help these people get their driver's licenses. Help them
Get it,
get
girl.
their fines and fees. Like
Right.
so many people come out and they are so. It's like they spin their wheels because they have no direction. And so treatment needs to be longer, but of course, if it's longer, then it costs more money. This is why I believe that it shouldn't cost anything to go into treatment. Like honestly.
I believe you absolutely right. I really think it need to be a process in which they just don't release you out to the wolves. They actually keep an eye on you, not an eye on you, but keep in contact with you, get you job resources, make sure you doing the right things instead of just, okay, now we done got all your insurance money. We done got you clean for 30 to 40 days. Now going on back to the society, and we hope not to see you again, but we really want to see you again.
They want to see you again, and they know they're going to see you again.
Yeah.
They know they are.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're right. You're so right on that. How does body brokering impact the overall quality of care received by individuals seeking addiction treatment?
So if money is the sole purpose why people are coming in somewhere, right? Like if all they care about is making money off of you coming in, then from day one, when you come in, you are looked at as just a number. You're not a person. You're not human. And so there's no time taken out to get to know you. There's no time taken out to meet with your family. Like I remember back in the day when I first went to one of the first rehabs I ever went to, and it was actually a really good treatment center. We had family day. They met my mom and dad. We had therapy sessions with me, my mom, my dad, and my sisters, because addiction affects the whole family, And so when you're going in and you have a situation where all they care about is money and they're body brokering people in there, there's no level of care. There's no humanity. There's probably not even doctors or nurses on the freaking grounds at all, And that's where people end up dying and losing it's just so sad that it's basically human trafficking.
That's really what it is. That's really what it is.
It's human trafficking.
You're absolutely right. Are there any specific laws or regulations in place to address body brokering in addiction treatment centers?
I don't know. I do know that it's illegal to accept payment by a treatment center, like per individual that you get into treatment, but I don't know I don't know if that's like tracked or something. I don't know if there's like certain laws. I'm sure that there's like laws against, how the person is employed and all that, but I don't know 100%. We should look that up and see.
You're absolutely right. How can individuals and family identify the treatment centers involved in body brokering?
Okay, so this is hard, but it's very hard because this goes all the way back down to a lot of these treatment centers will pay people to leave good reviews.
Right.
So they will have all these amazing Google reviews, all these amazing Yelp reviews, and they're all fake. They're all from they're from old patients who maybe had a good experience one time and then they have their friend do it, and the treatment center will pay people to do this. So I would love to be able to tell you, make sure you're reading the reviews, make sure you're calling. But it's like so serious. That's how good these centers are. That's how low down, dogged out these treatment centers are. That they literally pay people to leave them good reviews.
Not only that, did you see that sometimes the insurance that they do receive, they have it going back out to like they onshore accounts and some things like that. They have it going to another account, and though that account that they use is what to finance some of their trips and they little personal stuff. But also we heard in that video clip that sometimes they use that money to, like you said, to pay these people to leave those remarks and leave those reviews. So it's a corruption.
Oh, that's another thing. If you have a treatment, if you're trying to go to treatment, somebody reaches out to you and they're trying to help you, and they offer to fly you to the treatment center, that's illegal.
Right.
They cannot pay for your flight. That's considered bribery.
Wow.
Like so that happens all the time. I see it every single day. People reach out to me and say, well, this place said that they would fly me out there. Well, that's freaking illegal. That's illegal. You know? And so that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're up against, though. There's people out here who are offering to fly the people to them, fly them back, give them pocket money when they get there to hang out and spend. Like, this is so deep. And the corruption is so deep that like this, that's why I talk about how serious this is to accuse people of doing this. This is like federal offense. This is like FBI level.
That rabbit hole and this corruption runs deep. The deeper you go, the deeper it is in this corruption. And like I said, it's $1 billion a year industry, you guys. Y'all don't hear me. This is $1 billion a year industry, this corruption is. And they will do anything to keep their money intact. In what ways can community awareness and advocacy help prevent body brokering in addiction treatment settings?
We need to talk about it. We need to talk about our experiences that we have at the treatment centers. We need to be vocal. We need to share with each other, right? If you go in somewhere and you get the EBGBs and you got the bad feelings, if they're offering you stuff that you know is not right, you need to tell somebody. You need to talk about it. You need to let everybody know. So that way that doesn't happen to somebody else. That's the best way I know that we can all come together. And that's what they're doing in that Facebook group that they highlighted on that news clip, the ethics group. They try to share different centers that are doing unethical practices, so that way people will be aware and it can help people to not get caught up. But I will say this, I have seen though, and this is where I'm talking about in that group, where they'll say things like about me. And that's the thing, like, this is where the problem lies. When you're calling people who are not really doing that, then it makes you look like you're not trustworthy. It's like, so I want to be able to go in there and say, oh, wow, thanks for letting me know about this place and this place. But then you have good people you're mixing in and accusing, right? That's why it's so important to, if you're going to come on and say something this serious about somebody, you need to have 100% proof that that person is doing that, because it takes away from the fact that you're trying to help people from getting caught up by real body brokers when you're accusing somebody who's not even doing that, you know?
Like it's so hard to find the good in a addiction treatment facilities, and because there's so many people doing bad that it's hard to see the good in a lot of people and in a lot of these facilities, and that's the sad part about the situation.
Yeah, it is sad, but there's no amount of money that I could be paid that would be worth me getting behind somewhere that is going to hurt other people. Like, it's just not worth it to me. I don't want to be a part of that. That's why I've worked so hard to align myself with people who I 100% believe and trust. You know, like Dr. B, he is an amazing doctor. I trust him with my life. When my husband relapsed in 2020, he was the first person I called. He spent 3 hours on the phone talking to my husband for free, just helping us. Like I align myself with people that I trust, that I know are ethical, that I know are doing the right thing. And I've worked really hard to do that. I don't hang out and align myself with any rehabs. And I hate to be like this because I know there's some good rehab centers out there, but I don't know. So when you guys come to me and you say, well, this place good, I don't know. I can't put my name behind it. You know what I'm saying? The only places I'll vouch for are Dr. B and Recovery Delivered. And those aren't treatment centers. Those are physicians. Those are doctors, I can't get behind these other places because I don't know what they're doing. And that's what I think is also really important. If you're a recovery advocate and you want to represent a treatment center and you want to work with a treatment center, you better make sure that you go to that treatment center. You better make sure that you pop up and surprise their asses when they're not expecting you. Okay? Because a lot of these treatment centers will reach out to you, recovery advocates, and they'll say, Terrence, I see you. You're doing so good. Your following's growing. We love your recovery content. We would love to bring you on our team. Why don't you come out here and tour our facility? Yeah, they're going to show you the best parts of the facility. They're going to show you everything when it's rocking and rolling and doing good. You got to go when they least expect it. You got to feel around and actually really do your research, because if you align yourself with a place that is harming and hurting people, it will be the worst thing that you ever done. But that's what they do. They bank on you being desperate for a job, for money. They know that a lot of us addicts have felonies, so it's hard for us to get a job. So getting hired on a treatment center is like, wow, like I got a chance to be somebody, and they bank on that shit. So you got to make sure that you protect yourself. If you have a following that trusts you and believes in you, you got to protect that following. And that's what I try to do. That's why I have only aligned myself with two places, two people. That's it. And I have worked so hard to make sure that I stay disconnected from anybody else, because I don't want to be wrapped up and get in the wrong place, because it's easy to.
Absolutely. Let me drop a clues bomb. Let me give Miss Discovery and Nicole a round of applause for that. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys.
I love your sound effects. Listen to me. The other day I was watching you and you had the voice going on. Talk that shit. Talk that
shit. I had a feeling you was gonna like that. I had a feeling. I said, let me do this for my sister real quick, because you had me rolling when I watched it, because I edited that part myself. And when I was editing it, you had me rolling. I said, I'm gonna do the little voice on this one when she's talking, because you had me rolling, because you was on one. I love when they get you going, because when they get you going, woo, girl, you be going.
Y'all all love to see it when people get me going. Y'all love to see it. I can't help myself.
I be loving it. It's great TV. You know what, Nicole? It's great TV. It's absolutely good TV. We're gonna move on to the next topic, man. And I hope you guys have got enough information about the body broker and what is going on in corruption. So that is what me and Nicole is trying to do. We're just trying to bring awareness to it. And we also trying to educate ourselves and others out there who do not know anything about body brokering, what's going on, the practices, and how they get down what they get down. So like I said, let's make sure I give Nicole a round of applause for that, because she educated me as well. So we're going to move on to the next topic. Go ahead.
You did a great job with those clips. So before me and Terrence came on today, I called them last week and I was like, I really want you to find some clips to show people examples, because it's easy to get online and say, Nicole has a discount code. That's body brokering.
Right.
And then people go around and they repeat it. And it's like, no, this is very, very illegal. And like, you heard what Terrence told you guys at the beginning of the video. What they do, they prey on vulnerable addicts. They prey on treatment centers, prey on vulnerable addicts to hire them, to use them as body brokers, to pay them. And then then they pay the other addicts to go out there and get other addicts. And it's just like, it's a whole down the line. Body brokering, human trafficking.
That rabbit hole is completely, it runs deep, and the further you get down there, it's a lot of things you probably do not want to know. Well, yeah, we're going to jump into the next topic. we're going to talk about these corruption in these addiction facilities. And we got an informer, a former ex-worker. He came out, more conceived. You can pretty much call him a whistleblower, but he came out. He came out and he exposed a lot of things that goes on in the recovery sector. So we're going to get into this video clip and see what this is about. Just 1 minute. Bear with me, you guys. Oh, 1 minute, you guys. Bear with
I'm
me.
so glad you got these because I have never seen this.
I'm gonna have to do it again. Yeah, let me present it again. Okay, there we go. Thank you guys for being patient with me. Let me pay these bills real quick while we edit.
You're now rocking with the best show on YouTube. This episode is sponsored by my hit hoss. Smash the like button. The show begins now.
Okay. We're finna get right to it, you guys. Excuse me. I had everything set up, but it wasn't working right.
You're fine. You do a great job.
Thank you so much.
I'm just happy to be on here. You got all the high tech stuff, you know?
I be spending a lot of money on this stuff, Nicole. I'm not lying.
I just bought a new
I worked in
laptop.
a corrupt drug and alcohol rehab for 5 years. Corruption is everywhere, from patients using with staff members to staff members having affairs. Before I got hired, the guy that interviewed me appeared to be under the influence of stimulants. A lot of the patients that came in knew staff members because they were friends or maybe even they used together a long time ago. And unfortunately, a lot of those workers relapsed.
Wow.
I don't know how many people I've talked through suicidal ideation. They're on their last breath of hope. And to come to a place that prioritized money and business over their life, it was sickening. We actually had one instance where a 19-year-old boy was rushed through the program for the sake of giving up their bed to somebody else who could take cash or had better insurance. He was sent home and overdosed 2 days later and died. The facility that I worked at was at minimum $1,000 per day and was in network and approved by a lot of major insurance companies in California. But working on the inside, it felt like just a bunch of people who were newly sober trying to figure out how to run a business. There was one instance where we had a staff member who relapsed and quit, and they got back into the addiction lifestyle. They were dealing drugs. They were a connect for somebody who was in the rehab. That person knew where to drop it off, where it would be found, and a patient overdosed because of that. It was definitely just a big ball of chaos. The inpatient manager was actually notorious for gossiping about what patients disclosed in private one-on-one sessions. There was one time that I was at one of the houses and he was reading somebody's therapy note. He pushed the keyboard back and he sat back and he said, "Man, if she wasn't patient, I'd totally fuck her. She definitely takes it in the ass."
Wow.
We also had a program director who attempted patient brokering. Patient brokering is when somebody at a facility is basically doing a backdoor deal for cash and gets a percentage of the cut of whoever they can bring in for treatment. It has been known that patient brokering does take place in the rooms of Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous. People will go in and basically just start asking people, "Hey, who's got health insurance?" The screening process consisted of a mini biopsychosocial assessment where you collected medical history, abuse history, drug use history. A lot of the people that were answering the phones were not qualified or certified, including myself. These people had no clinical experience, no clinical credentials, and a lot of the time, not even a high school diploma.
Wow.
A lot of the questions were really triggering, especially when we would get to the section about abuse. The more sick a person was, the better chance their insurance would pay for them to stay longer. So you're constantly battling between picking this person apart or letting them have their dignity or not doing your job. The insurance department was under a lot of pressure from the CEO to bill for as much time as they could. The clinical department was trying to treat people who came there for help. There was one instance where the insurance director started yelling obscenities at the clinical director because they wanted to keep a patient longer than the clinical director wanted to. It always felt like it was profit over people. It's heartbreaking. At one point, two of the managers were having an affair. They would disappear to take lunches together and be gone for hours or be locked in one of the offices. They weren't able to be disturbed. Ultimately, it made the patient suffer. I was in a constant battle with my own moral compass and my desire to help people, hoping that the next day will be different. I was having panic attacks at work. I would lock myself in my office and just cry. It takes an emotional toll on you to be in such a toxic work environment. And then the kind of work that we're doing is so heavy that we had no support. I knew I had to leave. To anybody who's looking to get help for themselves or for somebody they love, pay attention to what's between the lines. If you don't ask any questions, you'll be blindly led down this yellow brick road that doesn't exist.
Wow. There you have it, everybody. That's the video clip that I had. So, Nicole, we're going to break it down. What are some of the common forms of corruption that occurs in addiction treatment facilities?
Well, you know what he was just saying, like the power dynamic between like counselor and client, and then counselors overstepping that boundary and hooking up with the clients. Like I cannot tell you how many treatment centers I've been to where I've seen this happen, where I live, where or how about this, where they have a behavior, they call them behavior techs, I think. Basically, it's the person who stays there to make sure everybody is sleeping in their bed at night, right? The person who sits at the watch out, they watch over everybody. Where one of those people who they're usually just addicts in recovery like us. Mm-hmm. And 13th step, I would call it 13th stepping, another one of the patients in the facility. That happens all the time. That's why I believe that if you're working in a recovery treatment center, if you're working in a rehab, you need to have credentials. You need to have went to school. You need to have been into training. Like you need to have your peer certification. You need to have some kind of college, something behind you where you were taught these things. But still, even then, people still overstep those boundaries, and that happens so much. There was actually a guy, I saw it last year. I think it was like in Boston or something like that. And he was hooking up with the girls that he brought into the treatment center.
Right.
Preying on them.
That's sad. That's sad. That's very sad. I hate that because you got people that want to go into these facilities and get treatment that they need, and you got people that prey. But it's just a society. Society's so fucked up, man. You just can't trust everybody. You can't trust all these facilities. You just gotta, like you said, Nicole, you gotta make sure you are doing the research about these facilities before you enter them, because some of them do not have your best interest. How does corruption in addiction facilities impact the quality of care provided to individuals seeking treatment?
I think you asked me that earlier, but it 100% affects them because if the person, first of all, think about it. A lot of the times in these centers, the staff, they're understaffed and underpaid. So you have a counselor who has 20 clients when their load should only be seven per counselor. So they're not getting paid enough, and they're overworked.
Right.
And so when you have people in here that are not being paid, the employees aren't being paid right, and then you have the treatments that are only caring about really the profit that they make, then you're not going to have people coming out and actually benefiting. You're going to have people that are coming out and getting hurt, that are like I said, dying, overdosing, relapsing, having people 13th step them, all kinds of horrible shit.
Wow. What are some of the red flags or warning signs that can indicate corruption within addiction treatment facilities?
People always ask me when they're looking for treatment centers like online, because people call me all the time and they ask me for resources, for help. That's why I don't recommend just one place. So I would say that's a red flag. If you reach out to somebody and they're only telling you about one place, they should give you a multitude of different options, right? When somebody reaches out to me and they need Suboxone treatment and they say, oh, recovery delivered, I have insurance, I want to use my insurance, recovery delivered doesn't take my kind of insurance or something like that. I have like 7 other places. I'm going to tell you about Bupe.me. I'm going to tell you about, now I can't even think of all the names, but I have them all on a little sheet with the links so I can send them to people if they need them. And so I said, that's a red flag. If people are only trying to send you to one place and not talking about helping you do research to find any other place. When you walk in somewhere and if they don't have a doctor, psychiatrist, a medical professional, I would turn the fuck around. I cannot tell you how many times my poor husband, because his family believes that you could just pray your addiction away, has been sent off to faith-based treatment centers. You and me could have run one of these places.
I know.
You see what I mean? That's it. That's all they have to have.
I know.
Okay. And he was in this place for 2 weeks, you guys. They detoxed him cold turkey off of methadone, Xanax, alcohol. He could have died. He could have dropped dead. If you walk into a place and they don't have no medical professionals on site, run the other way. That's a red flag.
More than likely, I swear, you're absolutely right. How can individuals or family protect themselves from becoming victims of corruption in addiction treatment facilities?
Don't be desperate. And I know when you're in addiction and you're struggling, that's a desperate time. Don't go around telling people that you have all this money that you're willing to pay to go to rehab. Okay. I wouldn't even lead with my insurance. I wouldn't even be like, I have good insurance. Don't say that, because I see people do this on Facebook all the time. I need help, have Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO, and all the sharks come and jump on their posts.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's like pouring blood into a shark tank.
Yes, don't do that. And I know you're desperate. I know you want to get help, but like that's the worst way you could do it, is to go online on Facebook and ask for help. You know, like this is when you're looking for treatment. This is mental health. This is your life. Okay. Would you go online and be like, hey guys, I have to have like a corrective surgery. Who wants to cut me open and give me this surgery? You know what I mean? Like, would you take just recommendations from anybody about that? No, like, so you need to like really do your due diligence. And a lot of times, like the treatment centers that I know that are local to me, I've been to them. And so there's one here, I won't say the name of it, but they're where I went for the last time in 2015. They have doctors on staff. They have nurses on staff. They have psychiatrists. You have your own cabin, just 2 people to a cabin. Like it's very, you meet with your therapist, once a week, sometimes twice a week. Like it was very, it was just a really good place for what it was, but it was expensive. I had insurance at the time. Thank God. It was remember the days of Obamacare? It was Obamacare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I went in there and it was like such a great experience. But I went in there and before I ever went to them, like I made sure that they had a place where I could get detox. I made sure that they had doctors that if I needed MAT, they could set me up with that. But I also was very knowledgeable because I had been to treatment over and over and over again. And I knew what I didn't want. I knew I didn't want to walk into a place where they were faith-basing me and just telling me I had to pray and blah, blah, blah. I knew that I needed medical help. I knew that I needed medical professionals. And so that was like from me just going in and out of treatment for the last, 10 years before I got sober. So people need to be aware of that, and that's what they need to look for. They need to look for places where there's dual diagnosis, medical professionals, like support, you know what I mean? And the people at the center need to be willing to give you information about anything that you need to ask questions about and fill you in and make you. There shouldn't be any reason to not be honest with you about anything,
Right. That's kind of head on to the next question I was going to ask you. How can whistleblowers or individuals with knowledge of corruption in addiction facility come forward safely and effectively?
Well, like what we're doing right now, coming online and talking about this, I think it's really important for more people in the recovery community to come online and talk about what they have seen being done, what they're researching. That way, like you showed the clips that have been happening online, and then I know it's scary if if you have done this and you've accepted payment to place somebody in treatment and you realize the error of your ways, come forward, be honest about it, help other people to not become a victim like you did. Like this guy in the corner, the whistleblower. I know he's hiding his face, and rightfully so, but if you have to be anonymous and anonymously post about it, you don't know whose life you could be saving. So that way they don't fall into the same situation you did. And that's why I really want people, I want the recovery advocates who have a following to hear what we're saying today, because I know so many of you guys get reached out to by these treatment centers. And I know that you want to work and you want to make a good living, and you can work for a treatment center and make a good living, but doing it the ethical, correct, right way, not where you are expected to bring them heads. You don't have to. That pressure on you, first of all, is so stressful when you have to meet a quota, because that's what they'll do. They'll say you need to bring 10 a month at least, and then you're stressing out and you're not really providing the true care and concern that the person reaching out to you needs, because all you're focused on is, I need to get this person in because that's number 7 on the list. Then I got 3 more to get. Do you know what I'm saying? You cannot possibly give them the best version of yourself if that's what is happening. You can't. You can't.
Thank you, Nicole, for breaking that down and coming on the show. You guys, let's give her a round of applause. Let's give sister a round of applause. Let's give her some cheering. Yeah. Let's give her a bombs too. Let's give her a few bombs. That's my motherfucking sister. She be bringing that fire to the table. Thank you again, sister, and thank you to everybody that was in the chat, everybody that was engaging, everybody that took the time out to rock out with me and Nicole today, because we was just trying to inspire, inform, educate those about body broker and these shady rehab facilities as well. That's what we do. So make sure y'all, if you're watching on Twitch right now, Facebook or YouTube, make sure you go subscribe up to Nicole at Discovering Nicole. And also make sure if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you do so. And make sure you hit that like button as well. Thank you again, Nicole. It's always a pleasure having you on. You bring that fire all the time. What you mean? That's my motherfucking sister. My motherfucking sister.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too, sis. I love you too. It's always a pleasure. And I will be contacting you. You know, you got my number. I got your number. And thank to all your followers for coming in and supporting me today. Thank to each and every one of y'all that's commented. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You guys are so nice to me. Thank you again.
All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
man.
Thank
Text
you,
me
Nicole.
later, okay?
I will most definitely do that.
All right. Bye, you guys. Love y'all.
Peace and love. There you have it. There you have it. Yeah. Let me give my sister another bomb. Let me give my sister another bomb. Yeah, she came out and rocked out with me today, man. And you guys, it's a lot of corruption that goes in behind the scenes with these rehab facilities. You got these body brokers. You got people that is actually out there pimping people to come to these rehab facilities for their insurance and to keep them high and to keep them messed up so they can continue to get their insurance. It's a shady world out here we are living in, and we have to be aware. We have to just know what's going on. So that is the reason why I brought forth this video today, this episode with Nicole. I knew she knew a lot about it. So that's the reason I called her up, so she can break it down with me as well, and we can watch these video clips and we can try to get an understanding. That's what it's about at the end of the day. You guys has been so nice to me. Thank you guys. Like I said, thanks to everybody that was in the comment section today. Each and every one of them. Continue to rock out with me, and I'm gonna continue to pour into y'all as much as I can. Also, the recovery walk is still scheduled. I'm thinking about holding a recovery walk in my community. The city, the mayor, everybody will be out there. That will be my first event that I am having. We're gonna walk the streets in my city. We're gonna advocate for recovery. We're gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna still let you guys know when we will have that. I'm trying to plan it sometime in August. But I would give y'all some more updates as soon as I get some things squared off. Thank you, everybody that rocked out with me today. I enjoyed your time. Peace, love, and happiness. And make sure you keep your body clean, you stay safe and sober. That's what it's all about. And make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Peace, love to everybody out there that rocked out with me today. I enjoyed your time. This is the Sober Gang Experience Podcast. Mr. Showout TV. See you on the next one. Peace and love.
Welcome to Mr. Showout TV Recovery and Addiction YouTube channel, where we hope to inspire those battling addiction. Please subscribe and like the channel. Make sure you click the notification bell to get notified whenever we broadcast. Thank you and enjoy the show. To support the channel, you can send donations to Cash App $Mr. Showout TV. So please don't wait, subscribe now. Together we can help and give inspiration to millions of people.